I just like scribbling, bro. Just scribbling, drawing cars.
Yeah.
You know, like for a long time, it was just a hobby. I saw him do that, and I'm like, that's the lifestyle I want to live. Like, I want to, kind of be a part of that.
Cris.
Hey, dude.
Cris Cross.
How are you?
How are you, bro?
Good, bro.
Mate, thank you for coming down. Cheers. We'll kick it off in the right way. Thank you very much. Mate, okay. So, I've been looking forward to this one. Because you do some really cool shit. So, we met not all that long ago out at Lakeside. And I always enjoy a bit of bullshit and banter, and you were running around with the speaker talking to everybody about the day's events.
Yeah, I'm like the Lakeside's professional shit talker.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Just keep that one a bit closer to you for that. Just so, you get it comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we sort of got to chatting, and I saw your Instagram stuff, which was just blew me away. And then we started talking a bit more about that, and it's like you do some really cool shit. So
thanks, man.
For anybody that's not up to date with what you're doing, we've got, I think Shawnee's got some Instagram stuff up there as well. But what's your story? Like, you're an artist, obviously, but like,
I just like scribbling, bro. Just scribbling, drawing cars.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, it was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And then it grew into like, you remember Chip Foose? And did you ever watch Overhauling?
Absolutely.
You remember in Discovery Channel, you had like rides.
Yeah.
And Overhauling was like one of the main shows on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I used to watch that shit nonstop.
Yeah.
I used to watch all those old car shows.
Yeah.
And one time I saw Chip Foose drawing. I was watching Overhaul, and I was like, I saw Chip Foose, and I was like, there's a guy that's got his own TV show, drawing cars on Discovery Channel and building them, and fucking just
loaded,
fucking living the dream. I didn't give a fuck with the money.
Yeah, but it frees you up to do the shit you love.
Yeah, look, that wasn't even the thought pattern.
Yeah,
it was more of like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Some people probably want to do things because of money.
Yeah.
Some people want to be successful or have a career that maintains a certain, lifestyle.
For sure.
And I think I saw him do that, and I'm like, that's the lifestyle I want to live. Like, I want to, kind of be a part of that.
Yeah.
The automotive world and the artistic world, and they kind of planted a seed.
Yeah.
And then for a long time, I was just left with, just left fucking in school. I just draw cars. If you ever saw my math books or my English books, all the edges would be full of cars.
Yeah.
I remember in primary school, I used to have a little A5 folder.
Yeah.
And I would, because I always used to play Need for Speed.
No, yeah.
So I'd have this A5 folder, and I was only drawing like 2D views, so like side views, front views, back views.
Yeah.
But I would have a folder. I'd have like an R34 Skyline, and then the next 5 pages would be like different body kits you could pick.
Yeah.
And I'd draw the car that the guys that's in the class would want to see. So I'd be like, hey, you pick this front splitter and this spoiler, and then I draw it, and then I go in trouble. But that's like where it started. It was just like this fun hobby, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
And
how old are you at this point?
I was like in primary school at this point.
Yeah.
Like would have been grade 6, grade 7-ish.
I was drawing like Ninja Turtles back at that age.
Well, still pretty bad. Like, they weren't any good.
Right.
But it was just like, and I was really into imports.
Yeah.
So I was like big, like greedy, and like HKS stickers all over it. It was all the shopping list, everything that we think is like a wank factor now.
Yeah.
But back then it was like sick.
So how old are you?
I'm 32.
Right. So you're in primary school when like Fast and Furious comes out and all
Yes.
that. Right. That's okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. 2000s.
Right. Yeah. I was already like, what were we, like 18, 19 when that came out, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I was a kid.
Right.
I was a kid.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was like, it was fucking year 6. I didn't even know what HKS was.
Right.
Yeah. Hence the drawing Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
But right, that's cool. So that kind of Right. So you sort of came into it as a kid with Overhaul and Fast and Furious, like all those shows.
Need for Speed,
Yeah.
like the games, like
Yeah.
kind of the OG shit
Yeah.
of I would say the more modern car culture. Because I think prior to that, you had you had your muscle cars, you had low riders, the sound systems and all that sort of stuff. But once Fast and Furious, Need for Speed, and all those sort of accessible kind of automotive things that young people could attract to came in. I think that's like the pinnacle where I kind of found my interest.
Yeah, I find that so interesting. It's like I was watching the same shows, and I remember it was American Hot Rod, American Chopper, like all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I fucking love those shows.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I remember watching Overhaul. It's so funny that it's like I watched the same show and like fell in love with the way that they were designing them. Same thing, but I need to learn how to make that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the drawing for me was like, I can't even understand how it's like. I watch Little Mix sometimes. They're doing airbrush and he just presses a gun and it's like a fucking dragon comes out.
Yes.
You're like, what? Whatever. But I was like, I saw all the English wheels and the plenishing hammers and the metal fab, and I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
From the same sort of show.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting the things that you gravitate towards.
100%. I'd watch the guys do all the wiring, do the paint work, the panel work, and I'd be like, that's fucking alien, man. That's
right.
That's taboo. I don't, I'm allergic to manual labor, so that's too much for me.
Hence the artist.
Hence the artist.
Right. Okay. I get it.
But yeah, dude. And then it's just like you just kid. I guess in my head I was like, my way in is drawing.
Yeah.
Not even my way in. I just what I picked up.
Yeah.
It's just like if you picked up a welder from that, I picked up a pencil.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what, it'd be a lot quicker to bloody do this shit in drawings is to do the real stuff.
I don't know. People spend a lot of time welding, bro.
But that's what I mean. It's a lot quicker. It'd be like, I get so tunnel visioned.
Yeah.
And it's like go. And at the end of the day, you might have made, a couple of panels. But this is my naivety talking to how long a drawing takes too.
Yeah.
Because it's like you see it on the show and you're like, he's sitting there and then all of a sudden the camera comes back, could be the next fucking day for all I know. But it's like, the time frame that he does.
Oh, it's like in like 5 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at it, and I think that's the thing that threw me so much with yours too. Like, bring up that Instagram page, Shawnee. Like the way you draw, and it looks like chrome. Blows my fucking mind.
Chrome is my my favorite thing. If you go,
that's nuts.
Yeah, that's a painting. Yeah,
but it's like you're doing it. You're doing the chrome basically with like shades of grey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a use of like French greys and cool greys, and then using blues and then obviously because it's a sunset, you use those goldens, you use those deep blues.
That's crazy.
But most of these colors are just kind of made up, really.
And it's because is any of it like the airbrushing side and painting side where you've got like sort of semi-transparent, so they're all solid and you're creating the colors as you're going?
Oh, I'm just making them up as I go.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's nothing with the cars. Obviously, everything's planned because that's someone's car. So it's got to
recreate.
It's got to match.
That already exists.
Yeah. But when I'm doing my own paintings, I just make up whatever. Like that was cool. That's like how they found it and how it finished.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's so cool. I only just picked up on your logo too. Like literally watching that just then, I was like, I don't know how many times I've seen it, and I'm like, now I get it.
You know what, dude? That was actually something I did I did that logo back in it would have been like 2006.
Really?
Yeah, I was in shop class in high school.
Yeah.
And we were playing with AutoCAD.
Yep.
And I was like, by the time I got into high school, I was the guy that did drawings.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with foos.
Yeah.
And I just on AutoCAD, I was just playing around with the logo and made cross, you know, same as Foos.
Yeah.
Like, that was never really meant to be anything. It was just like a
bit of fun.
Yeah, bit of a creative fun of like, you know, my idol to.
Yeah.
And then after school, I did a little bit of graphic design, and then I didn't do any art for like years. I worked at a bank.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked at a bank for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And
you're not still doing it at home, like on the side, like
banking stuff.
No, like when you're working at the bank, were you still dabbling, like keeping an interest there? Or?
No, there was a period where I stopped it altogether.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, altogether, until I saw someone else doing drawings, and it pissed me off. And then once I actually got back into it,
yeah,
I was like, you know, this OG logo that I did years ago.
Yeah,
like just go back to the roots of it all.
Yeah.
So use that logo and then in 2017, because I met Foos years ago. It would have been like 2009.
Right.
When I was a kid. I just graduated.
Right.
Just on the year that I graduated, I met Foos for the first time.
Wow.
And I even got his signature tattooed on my arm.
Nice. Nice. That's commitment.
Yeah, it was.
I like it.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't become a serial killer. And back then I was just like, oh, you know, I do drawings, but he probably gets that every single day. But he was so nice. Like I met him, and he took me through this grand tour of the shop, and he was fucking awesome bloke. Like genuine, as good as he is on telly, he is outside the show.
Yeah, you don't really hear anything bad about him.
No.
Like
then in 2000, no, you don't really. Which
No.
I'm really grateful because of that tattoo. And you know, it's not like I got a Diddy tattoo or something. You know?
Yeah, that's a whole thing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just saw it today. Did he get away with it?
I saw someone had a reaction to it, and the video was about 15 minutes long, and I went, I don't have fucking time.
No,
I'm gonna go back to it.
I saw a caption.
Yeah.
And it said victory from Diddy, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And anyway, in 2017, we went to SEMA.
Yep.
And he was there unveiling the Mac Foos, which was like a 70s, 71, 72 Mac 1.
Right.
Obviously with his touch.
Yeah.
And we went up to him, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember? You know, I was the guy." He's like, "Oh yeah, you do the drawings."
Wow.
And I was like, "No fucking way!"
Yeah.
And like, I'm originally from Argentina,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, you were there. You're the Portuguese kid with your mum and your dad." And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Argentina," but nonetheless,
Yeah.
you know, that was nearly 8 years.
Yeah. And you think of the amount of people he would meet.
He'd meet thousands of people every
Yeah.
year. He remembered.
Yeah.
He remembered. So it was a really cool,
Wow.
cool little moment. And yeah, man, it's all just come from a really basic, you know, starting point of
Just a love of doing it.
you
Yeah.
know, and then just finding someone that did it, and you know, and then it got to the point where I was like, you know, I kind of want to be like him, and then I think I got to the point where I was not like him, but I was I kind of ticked the boxes
Yeah.
of what he did, thinking, you know, I want to be on telly, I want to draw cars, I want to do this, and that.
Yeah.
I kind of did all that. Like I'm still on Rides Down Under on Channel 7 Mate.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of the drawings for the concepts that they're coming up for the builds for that TV show.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of tick that box off.
Yeah.
You know, a full-time automotive artist, and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of fermented myself within the car scene.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of ticked all those boxes off. And when I kind of did that, I realized I was like, you know, kind of chasing that dream that someone else has achieved
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to kind of do that.
Yeah.
You know, because someone else has already done that. So you kind of...
Yeah, I've said it on here a few times. It's like success leaves clues. Like
Yes.
It's a lot easier the second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I say it like that, like it's easy, but it's
not
still,
easy,
it's still hard, but it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trailblazing is probably not the simplest thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So now it's at that pinnacle point of just kind of discovering what my actual,
Yeah.
you know, point.
Like what your next
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's funny. Just And the banking was actually a blessing in disguise because, like, I fucking hate it. You know, it's a great job. It was a good. I'm not saying the job or the place I worked at was shit.
Yeah.
It was just a shit job for me.
Yeah.
You know, the suit, the ties, the cufflinks, the fucking micromanaging, the bullshitting to clients, making sales just for the sake of money. You know, it was just it was no good. But I learnt really good things about banking and obviously running a business and all that. So it was a blessing in disguise, and it also made me realize how much I hated being bossed around.
Yeah,
and how shit of an employee I was pretty bad.
Yeah, I said that last time. I'm like, well, maybe not last time. The one where we did with the group of us, we were talking about that. I think my longest job I've ever had in one place is 8 months. Because I get, as soon as I get my head around something, I'm bored. Like I have to chase. Like we were talking about downstairs with the 80 series chop and stuff like that. Like I don't keep any of those. There's no templates. Everything I do, I start from scratch. Because like I've got to have, as soon as something becomes like copy and paste, like production line stuff, I'm like, that's not I can't do it. Yeah. I go out of my mind. I've got to have that thrill of something to chase, or the challenge.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like when you're working for someone else, or you're working for a corporation, you know, a big one.
Yeah.
You know, there's a recipe that works.
Yep.
So they just need people to follow that recipe. Yeah. But when, you know, if you're inclined to kind of be a bit more creative and you need space to be creative, it's not really going to work.
No, it's not. And do you need another drink? Or are you good?
In a second, I will. It's
like
the first time I've drank in like months.
Well, I've really gotten to the point now where I pretty much only have beers like when we're filming these.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Because I did get to a point where I was drinking way too much, just after work each day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'll have beers when we do a podcast.
Yeah.
And we've had a few. I think like Ruthie didn't drink. He had to go down to Harley Davidson or something. So we've had a few where we've had like coffees and that. But I got Pauline Hanson to drink beer with me, so that was cool.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, VBs of all things, but she had a beer with us. So
she seems like the sort of VB girl.
She only had one, then she got onto the Northerns.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was like, I bloody got VBs for you, and she started drinking me Northerns. But what are you gonna do? No, but it's like you must be like that generation, because it's interesting. You're sitting there, you're saying like you were doing CAD stuff in high school, and I'm like, we were making fucking plastic ashtrays in the oven in high school. Like we didn't have CAD. I think were we typing when we were learning to type in high school? Was that a typewriter? Yeah. It was It was a computer. I fucking really swear it was a typewriter.
You had like the ink typewriters, like.
I remember using one in year 8. It was like I was surprised how hard you had to push the keys.
How old are you?
We're only 43.
Oh, okay.
He's older than me.
You made it sound like you're fucking way older.
No, well, no, but I really.
He looks younger than you.
Shut up! Don't tell him that. It's for the first time in ages. I'm the youngest in like my whole kind of little.
Are you the sort of guy that if you shave your beard, you look like a 12-year-old?
I don't know. No,
you just know.
No. Well, I've had a shaved face once in pretty much my adult life.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a goatee for years, and then I had the big Paul Senior chops up at my old shop. But then I shaved it once a few years ago, and I was over at Mum's place, had my kids with me, had a shower, cleaned up. I was like, fuck it, just fresh face, I walked out and my young fella went, grow it back. All right. And yeah, showed my missus a photo of that. I thought, I'll take a photo because I'll probably never do it again. And she's like, don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah. Fuck, all right. I didn't think it was that bad, but anyway. No, I don't look younger. I just look different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like you come up in that era of like all the technology is really starting to come into school and sort of expose you to it. I think I probably would have gotten a lot more involved in school if they had cool shit like that. Like I hated school. I was there for a social event.
Yeah. I think I was too. But I enjoyed shop class. I enjoyed art class.
Oh yeah, fair.
That's really about it.
I enjoyed drama.
Oh yeah.
Drama was cool. I don't mind. I just like the acting and like the plays and stuff. I didn't mind doing that. That was fun.
What sort of place did you go into?
Nothing. We never did any like. It wasn't like America where they put on a play. It was just whatever you did in class that day. Like you get up and read script, and like, that was fun.
Yeah.
And sport, but only the prac side. I was fucking terrible at. I don't remember bone names and shit. That's not me.
Bone names?
Yeah, like what, I don't even know where your humerus is. Where's that?
Oh, like
is that your leg?
The anatomy of it all.
Yeah, like the right, because you got physical education had like sports like prac, and then you had theory.
Yeah,
the theory. Yeah. No, I sucked at that.
Okay.
Like talking about bones and names of this and that, and it was just no, sorry. But yeah, no, you're like going through and learning CAD would have been really cool. Have you kept up with all that sort of stuff? Do you still use anything like that today, or are you just all
No, not at all. Like I use like Illustrator, Photoshop, things like that, but nothing to do with CAD, which is disappointing because I probably should, because a friend of mine, he's way younger than me. And he's extremely talented, and I don't think he's using CAD anymore, but it's a similar concept but you can now create 3D renders
for like 3D printing and stuff.
3D printing and 3D renders.
Yeah,
so
right.
like he does some incredible drawings, and that kind of came from the essence of AutoCAD.
Yeah,
those sort of programs. But I guess it was just more. I just kind of went down the hands-on pencil.
Yeah.
Pen on paper sort of realm, not the digital, right? So out of necessity, I've done a lot of digital stuff.
Yeah.
Just to do logos and do shirt designs and things like that.
Yeah.
But, if it were up to me, I wouldn't really bother doing it.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's just with the clientele that I've got, it's just kind of, there's a bit of a demand, and I've got the creativity to kind of bring some ideas to life.
Yeah.
To a certain level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things that probably would have been good to learn.
I remember watching in the early days, like the American Hot Rod stuff, watching Mike design the wheels.
Yeah.
And it's like
awesome shit with the CNC machines and all that.
Yeah. And I think from memory, he left Boyd and went over with Foose.
Yes.
But yeah, no, seeing them create like that 3-dimensional, and I mean, like, geez, the computers back then probably wouldn't have been as smart as your phones these days. But like, it's watching that sort of stuff come to life.
I think the essence of those programs are still the same.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there's still similar sort of concepts. You can just do more now.
Yeah.
At a greater capacity, and obviously the technology of the actual machines themselves have progressed.
Yeah.
So that's just the output of what you can create has just gone double. Yeah. But I think the basics of it all.
Yeah.
Still, fundamental to what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love watching those shows. There's like the American Chopper. I'm thinking, what was the show that I used to watch all the time? The OCC.
Yeah, American Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
the senior and junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those shows I used to love watching, and just went to shit. Just went absolute shit, that show.
Yeah. That's
the drama and the legal cases and all that.
Yeah, I mean, they had it nailed. But I mean, it's that was also Discovery. Like, you watch pretty nearly any of those Discovery shows. I think we've spoken about this in here before as well. It's like there's a format that they use.
Yeah,
it's like, forget the characters' names, but there's a main boss. There's a second. There's a second in charge.
Yeah.
But it's the way the show must storyboard.
Yeah.
Where they'll show a bit, like on this episode of whatever, they show you a bit of stuff. Then it goes to the intro. Then it goes to the beginning of the show, and then they show you what they're doing. Then there's the mini interviews where they cut to the person telling you, because Richard Rawlins really opened this up a lot in one of his interviews after they finished with Discovery, and he was like, I didn't really notice it until he said it, but he was like, I felt like such an idiot. Like, we're literally, they're interviewing us, asking us questions, getting us to tell them what the people have just seen. And he's like, it's dumb. And I was like, just they all do it. Yeah. It's literally, they're sitting down doing a mini, and they slide them in everywhere. And Mikey actually said it on American Chopper, I think it was the after show or whatever. He goes, because obviously they got paid, to make the show as well, but also what they were selling wasn't really a bike. It was a 40-minute advert for whatever the company was that they were working for. That's why they went for a walk through the shop and got the history and this and that, and what they're celebrating and why they're having a bike built. And it's like, once you actually hear it and see it unpacked like that, it's like that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like they're literally just creating a commercial for that company.
Yeah, and he's found his success now with YouTube and everything else now. So
Yeah, Senior's on Paul Senior Unchained now. They're
Yeah.
down in Florida.
same with Rawlings as well. He's got a
Richard,
massive YouTube channel.
Well, he's a little bit more of the generation to capitalize on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, well, I
Senior's-
think he's more of a business guy rather than a car guy too. Like,
I reckon he's every bit as much a business guy as he is a car guy.
yeah,
Because it's like, I think his story was they had a printing company or something, or a magazine he owned or something like that. But he sold that and funded.
you know, he was originally in Overhauling. One of the
Yeah,
first episodes.
him and Aaron were.
Yeah.
They were both
Yeah,
in
yeah,
it together.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when Aaron had short hair and no
Yeah,
beard.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't recognize him at all.
No.
You know, Richard's coming to Australia.
I did, yeah, I saw something on your
Yeah.
page about that as well.
Yeah.
What are they? They're doing a world tour or something.
Yeah. So Rides Down Under, the
Yep.
TV show,
Yeah.
they've collaborated with Richard, and they're bringing him here. So it's a Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne show,
Yeah,
and they're
right.
going to be doing these big shows, and he's going to be touring and
Yeah.
you know, meeting people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I saw it was something about putting shop against shop or something and doing builds and
Yeah, it's going to be a big build off.
Yeah,
One
right.
of the local guys here in Brisbane. I don't know if I can say who it is. I don't know, but
we can say who it is and then you can just tell me we can edit it out.
yeah. So Luke Mitchell, he
Right.
built like the Evil LJ.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
built so many nice cars, man. He just finished building the smoke bomber.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there any shops over here that are like the Australian version of Gas Monkey though? Like that do it all in the one place?
yeah, there's a handful. There's one here in Brisbane called Superformance.
Okay.
They do everything from the chassis to the engine builds to the paint work.
Wow.
I think the only thing that they send out is the interior.
Yeah, right.
The only external work that gets done.
Yeah.
But they can build the chassis in house. They can build the engines in house. They
Well,
can
that's
paint.
taking it even further.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
paint and panel, everything. They're the guys that built the air ride suspension of my Corvette.
Right.
Yeah, so they did all the custom rear end, the custom front end,
Yeah.
and got it all approved for Australian standards and everything. So it's all legal and shit. So
Wow.
it's probably the only legal thing on that car. And
I'll show you a video after, Shawnee.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was
Did
funny.
you post that?
I posted up like the 360.
Did you?
Yeah, one little
Is it
twist.
on your Insta?
It's on the Helvet Insta. If you go on the Helvet Insta, you can see it.
You go up the top of his Insta page and there's a link there for Helvet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
was-
so they built the air suspension in that.
Yeah.
So Superformance is definitely one of those big shops that do a one-stop shop. So you can just drop off. You could drop off your Commodore, or you could drop off a bare shell, and they can do a full.
Wow.
They can do $250,000 build, or just
Yeah.
put a fresh engine in it, whatever you really want. And it's a handful of other shops that do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There it is. Hit the left one there, Shawnee.
that was fun.
This might be loud. Oh,
The audio's off.
yeah.
If
Turn
you press the bottom right,
There you go.
no, I can't hear it.
What are you doing? Why is it so?
That's all right. Doesn't matter. But yeah.
There it is. I thought I was going to get fucking sprayed with water.
I was trying to spray you.
I fucking thought you were. right about here.
That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah, I fucking thought that's what you were doing. That's gold. Love it. So, your car's... Oh, yeah, so it's got its own Instagram page.
My car has more followers than me.
So does my daughter. She has more followers than me,
Yeah.
so I'm like, this is shit.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It's just a car.
Wow.
It's just a car.
That's cool, though.
It is cool. Yeah.
So what's the... What I got to ask. I love it. But where did the inspiration for the paint job come from? Could you not decide, or...
The two-tone.
Yeah.
Did I just what?
Could you not decide? Or you
Oh, I
just,
think so you're high.
Well, I mean, that'd be a cool story too. But no, first time I saw it, I was like, that's a mean grey. And I was like, hang on a fucking minute. Like, it's like a different car from the other side.
It's funny, there's a lady on my street, and for years, she came up to me like last year, and she was like, I just realised that Corvette is yours. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, one day I keep seeing a grey Vet drive out, and then a yellow vet come in.
Dude,
And then the other day, I went for a walk, and I realized it was the same fucking car. I was like, oh, yeah, sorry.
That's a bit cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the idea came... I've had that car for like 10 years now.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of recently started going through a bit of a stage where, you know, I was kind of figuring out exactly, you know, how I wanted to be, you know, as a husband, as a friend, you know, as you know, trying to find myself a bit more authentically rather than in the manner of how I wanted to present myself. I think for a long time I spent too much time focusing on how I was presented in a social perspective or
Right.
in a perspective of how people saw me rather than how I was genuinely trying, or how, you know, how you could genuinely just be an authentic part of who you are, of how you are.
Yeah.
So recently kind of discovered that, you know, there's a large portion of me that's, you know, that's masculine, that's, you know, that's cars, it's tattoos, it's training, it's, you know, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And then there's another very different side of me that's quite feminine, spiritual,
Yeah.
and completely separated from anything to do with the automotive world.
Yeah.
Which is what I recently started to find was a much healthier relationship with my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Was separating these two, because too much of one thing just, well, too much of anything, it's no good.
Yeah.
So I think I was drowning myself with this kind of lifestyle of, you know, this persona that I thought I should have been.
Yeah.
And it just fueled an alter ego that was just not healthy.
Okay.
So that car is kind of this,
Physical expression of it.
it's like a materialistic representation of my personality.
Yeah.
You know, there's one side that's nothing, that's spiritual and feminine, and there's one side that's masculine and materialistic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole concept of that car. You know, I think
Yeah, right.
that's why I think I actually came to realize not too long ago. That's why I actually liked cars, or like when I used to do a lot of like live feeds at Joe's Diner, and we'd do interviews with people, and
Yeah.
I really liked talking to people about their cars because every single time, you know, not just like, I'm talking about people that have had, like your cruiser,
Yeah.
right? Or someone that's had a car for 10, 15, 30, 40 years, and they've just spent their lifetime changing it. It was blue, it was green, it was purple, now it's red.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I find that cars can really be an expression of who that person is at the time,
Yeah.
you know. And it's a really interesting story of how maybe some people who struggle to express their emotions or who they are find it in a way to do that with this materialistic object being the vehicle.
Yeah.
And, you know, listening to people's stories while interviewing them was really cool, because it's like, oh wow, like you've had you know, sometimes you talk to a guy and his wife has passed away, and, you know, he's going through a divorce, and, you know, and you can kind of see how sometimes the cars, you know, they've been left untouched, but they've got a new heart.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they've had a rebirth, but they still want to keep their scars.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, you know, oh, I got divorced with my wife, so I gave the whole car a birthday. So it's like a complete rechange of that person. You know,
Yeah.
now that person's, you know, lost weight and he's trying to do things differently. You know, some people are struggling through cancer, so that, you know, they pour their heart and soul into this car, and they kind of express their dreams into this manifestation, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I recently started to see how people do that with vehicles, and I found a whole different level of appreciation of how some people, you know, have a connection with these things,
Yeah.
rather than just, oh, it's cool, you know, just did it for the sake of doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's normally like this. It is often like that, but you talk to some people and you find a story behind it. It's quite
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, you know, that's kind of where that whole concept came from, man. Just a bit of a... But I did it not really thinking that until I realized later on that that was the path I was going to, and it kind of all made sense.
I like that. It's like, I mean, it's one of the reasons I do this too. Is like I love the stories. I love the history and how people got to where they are, and you know the challenges that they've faced, and you know we've done a few now where you know we've had a couple like mental health episodes, and you know we've done all sorts of stuff, and I always find it interesting how people, I don't know if deal with things is the right word, but like what expressive ways they have to either speak when they don't know what to say.
It is to deal with it. Like some people deal with it in an external way that really requires no discussion. Yeah. You know, or they can't find a way to talk about it, so they'll do things or they'll act in certain ways, you know. And sometimes it's these cars. You know?
Yeah, look, definitely. I mean, like you talk about you've got sort of two different sides to yourself. God, I reckon I've gone through that sort of same thinking pattern before that many different times where like I love what I do, but at the same time there's other things that get my attention, and I think it's because I get so tunnel visioned on things. You know, like, and my lady and I have had this conversation about, you know, how much headspace my shop, the shows, that everything sort of takes up, you know, because I go 100 miles an hour at everything. I don't know how else to be. But I kind of like, I look at things like, you know, the studio or the 80 or whatever, and it's like, these are all these, which I really wouldn't have been able to put words to until you sort of said that, but these are all like a physical expression of all my different sides, because there's a part of me that would just love to do nothing other than work on trucks all day, and there's a part of me that would love to do nothing more than this every day, and there's like another 5 other things that we got going on in the background that are all these different sides of me that I think are like I've built all these different outlets for all those different sides of me. That's really interesting. I hadn't really sort of put words to it like that. I just put it all, it's like everything other than my relationship was just work.
Yeah.
You know, and breaking it down to the different parts of me and the different bits that I enjoy doing, it's like that's actually getting some cogs turning. So
yeah, I think if you open your mind or you open your eyes to some of the things you're doing, it'll really show, you know, what's important, what's urgent, like what really should require energy, what doesn't, you know. And I think I got to that point where I was putting my toes into so many different ponds. Yeah. And I was actually really unhappy. Like,
it's like you were super busy doing everything you loved, but you were unhappy.
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck, that's, yeah, wow.
Absolutely, okay. Dude. But then I realized.
Is this because you were running too thin, or?
You know what, dude? It was 2 things, I think. And again, I'm just trying to bring it back to the basics, and you can always make it as complicated as you want. But
do you need another drink? Are you good?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
It was 2 things. It was one. It was thinking I didn't want to lose momentum.
Yes.
You know, there was a fear. Of losing momentum.
Yeah.
So you kept saying yes, and you kept trying new things, right? Because, and I think I convinced myself that I was bored doing the thing that I was already good at doing.
Right.
And I was also using comparisons among other people to fool myself into thinking I need to do more.
Yeah.
Which was just an unhealthy relationship with social media. That's all that came down to.
Yeah.
Just comparing yourself to people you don't know fucking know.
Yeah.
And it also came as a distraction to things that were going on in the background. You know, things at home, things in my life, things in my mind, things in my heart that I was probably ignoring. No, not probably. I was definitely ignoring.
Yeah.
As far as my mental health, my emotions, and my capacity to understand my emotions.
Yeah.
So taking more on allowed me to
not worry about it as much because your mind's over here.
Well, my energy's going all the way over there.
Yeah.
my energy is here, 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 here. So now I've kind of got all these fucking things going and going and going. And I'm like, okay, well, there's only like 3% left to kind of think about this thing that's eating me up inside. So I can just put that over there.
Yeah.
And eventually that doesn't work. That cog pretty much stops everything.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
But and this is what I mean about looking back and taking a perspective on all the things you're doing.
Yeah.
Asking yourself why. And is this urgent and is this important? Because most of the things that we do in urgency, it's obviously important, urgent things to have to be done. But I'm talking about when we get busy in life and we start losing track of time with our partners, start losing track of time with ourselves, with our health, and start losing track of the things that are important in our lives that have nothing to do with money or success or career.
Yeah.
Literally the things that we're working all so hard to maintain, yet we're ignoring them because we're working so hard.
Yeah.
And when you take a good look at why you're doing all these things, it can be very scary because it's like, shit, I'm actually doing all this because I'm actually scared of this memory. I'm scared of this thing that happened. I'm scared of having this conversation. Because things add up.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing was that kind of sent you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Turns into about 10 other things by the time you realize what it is.
Yeah.
So when I kind of realized that, I was like, I need to cut out so much shit in my life. I need to just start saying no, take more time for myself. I can just learn to take a break, because sometimes I used to, if I got sick or I got lazy, I would beat myself up so badly and just create my own self-generated guilt as to why I was being a loser or being, wasting time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't taking time to appreciate the wins. And I think the wins that I was getting, I was still trying to get some sort of public gratification from.
Okay. You like hyper focused on the external opinion and validation and all that. Yeah.
Because I think that all just came down to the fact of just being fearful of my own internal views of myself and, of what others could think as well.
Yeah, right.
So this external perspective and ego became the powering engine that kind of fueled everything else. So it was actually the turning point of kind of realizing this was actually a psychedelic trip that I did.
Wow. Okay.
Back in 2023.
Yeah.
And then since that really deep, powerful trip, there's been a continuous desire to learn more and understand more about my spirituality, my emotions, my capacity to understand my emotions, and just, you know what? I was just being more selfish, just for my own self-love.
Yeah.
Since that trip, all of a sudden, the ego started to die away massively.
Yeah.
And the desire to be involved with this and that and fucking say yes to this and take that money and do this, and it started to dwindle away, and started to kind of have an appreciation of, if I am taking a day off or if I am sick, it's fine. I'm not losing momentum.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. Nothing bad is going to happen. It doesn't matter. So there's, and then that's when I had the capacity to kind of look back and go, no, I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need this. I do need that. This needs more time. I need to work on this, and then, that whole kind of management of the lifestyle just kind of begun.
I've heard Rogan talking about the eye-opening way that some of the psychedelics, he's a big advocate for everybody doing it once and sort of discovering yourself. I honestly, it scares the shit out of me. The concept of being like, I'm such a control freak, and it's like, I mean, I think like, God, back in the day, we'd kill a 50 bag of weed or whatever and have a bit of fun, and like that was us. Like I never got. Well, I've always been such a control freak. Like even throughout my teen years, like I had mates popping pills, doing lines. I mean, I never was around anybody that would inject anything, but like I've never done any of it. I've always been like, oh, I'm good. I don't, and I was big enough.
You've never tried anything?
Nope, other than pot. Nothing.
Oh, okay. So you've done weed.
We had this north side of Brisbane's fucking wildest unit for a minute, but it was only with pot.
Have you got those cannabis cigars?
No. I do have very nice non-cannabis cigars. What do you want to? Do you want to light one up?
No, keep going. Keep going. Right. Sorry.
But like even at a like I never got. I mean, I don't know what you would. It wasn't even called peer pressure back then. But if anybody ever was like, oh, you want some of this, Benny? And I said no, that you'd get like, oh, you little bitch, and you turn around and go, because I was big enough. I turn around and go, what? Nothing. So I never got pressured into anything, and I'm such a control freak. It was always like, I can't, I won't let myself go down that path.
Right.
But it's like as you get older, there's so many. It's so much more spoken about now. And you hear guys like Rogan and yourself, and it's like they're talking about the immense benefit that you've gotten out of it. Still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. What scares you?
The non-control, the not being able to get off the ride.
Yeah.
That's
you know what? That's a fair statement of where you could find a fearful paradigm for it. Makes sense.
And it's like I've heard enough stories where people go, you've got to be in a good environment, because it's like if you let your mind go down, it'll go down. And I'm like, yeah, no. That's like if I can't, it's like for you. I mean, I think this is a little bit of residue as well from like I had when the kid's mum and I split. I had a couple of panic attacks over a short amount of time. Now my mum's got agoraphobia, and she's had that since I was like 5.
What's
it's
that?
A panic disorder.
Oh, right.
Like she got like it's you've got your bubble, and going out like, and the bubble's the home.
Yes.
Going outside the
like
home.
your safe zone.
Your safe zone. Going outside the home would cause you to panic. Now she went from being a flight attendant, flying all over Australia, to not being able to get to the letterbox.
Wow.
At home. And I grew up with this. She's had that since I was like 5. And so when at the first episode, I thought I was sick. I thought I'd had some, food thing. Like I just went sweaty and your guts turn and you're like, geez, like what the hell's going on? The second time it happened, I went, hang on a minute. I haven't even eaten anything. And I sort of started to like allow myself to feel what was going on. And I went, I'm having a fucking panic attack. I had the thought of it anyway. And I went to the doctor, booked in, went and saw him, explained what had happened. He said, yeah, you'd had 2 panic attacks. And all that went through my mind was, there's not a fucking chance I'm going to let myself get to a point where I can't get to the letterbox. I went, whatever the drugs are, give it to me.
So did you go and talk to someone, like a psych or a counsellor about what is actually manifesting the fear of those panic attacks?
Not in as in as many words. It was a pretty clear indicator. Like I've been building my old shop for 6 years.
Yeah,
I knew the separation was coming, so we sold that and moved back to Brisbane.
Sure.
So I've gone from, because that was like, I went from my longest job being 8 months to running my own shop for 6 years straight. So it was like, I put everything into that. I'm like, so my business is gone. I'm splitting up with the kid's mum, who I was married to. I'm not seeing my kids every day. I've moved out. It was a pretty clear indicator. It's like, okay, I've had a massive life shift. The 3 things in my life that were my constants, which was their mum, them, and my work, are now gone.
Yeah.
So it was a total shift in life. But I went to the doctor and I said, like, if this is going to keep happening, like, give me the drugs.
Yeah.
So I was on a 20 milligram Lexapro for a few years. And it was only when my lady who I've been with now for a few years, like, she was basically like, it's time to fucking man up, like put your big boy pants on and deal with this shit, that I went, okay, and started looking into what a panic attack actually is, which is literally just your fight or flight response kicking in and a dump of adrenaline. And because you have nothing to run from or fight, it just sits in there, and it's like this burn heavy weight in your chest, and it like goes all through you. But because you're not physically expelling it, like, and so for a while I would get to a point where I'd be like, if I felt something coming on, I'd just drop and do push-ups and literally burn it off.
Yeah.
And it's like, you go, well, okay, all right, that worked.
Yeah.
Then I went down the path of understanding, like I went through all the Tony Robbins stuff of, you can't feel gratitude and anger at the same time. Right? It's like a physical impossibility. You cannot feel grateful and angry. And so I went through that process of putting myself back in the birthing suite of my kids. And I cried, like, I'm an old school hard ass, but I cried like a fucking schoolgirl when they were born. And so I could get myself to a point where I was that back in those rooms with both of them that I could get myself to a point where I'd tear up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So just so in that moment.
Yeah.
And it was like, then the anxious feelings were gone.
That's good.
So I got off the Lexapro, I've done that much stuff in the last few years. I quit smoking, got off the Lexapro, cut down my drinking, like did all that sort of shit. But I can't even remember where the fuck we were going with this.
We're talking about psychedelics.
Psychedelics, yes. But I've got to that point where I was like, it's been a good path. I've gotten off all these things, but there's residual control.
Yeah.
And where I was going with that was we went to Tasmania a couple of years ago. I'm off the Lexapro, but where we went from the mainland Tasmania over to Bruni or Brunny Island, whatever it is, there's a barge. I'm like, it's nothing. It's fucking 15 minutes, but I can't get off.
Oh, you couldn't get off?
No, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I can't get off. And if something goes wrong on that island, I got to wait for a barge to get back. So I'm starting to go like, I've no control. Now I'm on the schedule of a barge.
Oh, right.
And it's this whole control thing.
So something's still there.
That's still kind of, I did it. Like I got on it, but I was like,
but you felt it.
Uncomfortable.
You realized there's something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, once I got on there, because it's like in your mind, you don't know. Like I'm like, it's an island. It can't, I'm just going to be stuck on this island, but it's this whopping great lump of land where you don't feel like you're on an island.
Yeah.
But it was the control of that.
You start having Wilson vibes. You got it.
Yeah, it took me a second. Well, that is the exact reason I won't go on a cruise.
Why?
Can't get off. What if something goes wrong?
Got lifeboats.
Well, that didn't work out so well for Titanic.
You know how slow a fucking cruise ship would sink?
Yeah, I don't know, but then you got to swim.
Dude, you could finish watching Lost by the time it fucking sinks.
Well, there was one not that long ago.
Oh, you're talking about the Carnival cruise, like in 2015?
I don't know. The dude went off course and he went in to do a flyby in the Air Force when they fly by the tower. It was something like that, like a sail by or something they call it, to a town.
Yeah.
And he got too close and fucking keeled open the side of the thing, and it was like. Then he's gotten out to the open ocean, and by then there's lights and sirens and fucking water everywhere, and it wasn't that old. Yes,
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Good memory.
Well, people died. Modern times.
Yeah.
Fuck.
One. Yeah.
Hey, that means there's not none. Fucking nah.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, dude.
It's a control. It's some form of control.
I think a lot of people. I think most of us these days have an obsession with control, because we have a lot of control these days.
Yeah,
like people have a lot of control, and I think that concept of control comes a lot from the reality that we are very controlled.
True.
I think it's like this weird fucking non-stopping infinite paradigm of we love control because we are controlled sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One doesn't work without the other.
No. Yeah.
Somewhat. I can't really break it down, but that's kind of where my head went. And I also had, what when I did the because it was a psilocybin trip.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And my fear wasn't that. It wasn't the control. My fear was my demons.
Okay.
Yeah. Like thinking of, things that eat you up at night sort of thing. Are they going to come and, destroy your trip? Or, are you going to have a traumatic trip because of these things that you feel guilty about, or things you feel upset about? But it was actually the most beautiful thing I've ever done.
Yeah, that doesn't. I haven't got any demons, so that's like there's nothing for me that I'm like.
And there was.
I don't want to think about that.
Right. So that's a really good thing, because there was a pinnacle moment where I recall saying to myself, "I need to surrender
and just let go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was probably one of the most freeing moments that I've ever had. Just within me. It's internally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to be able to completely surrender and just let this thing go.
Yeah.
And that's honestly where my ability to control my life in a more authentic, healthier way begun. Since that, I went into this trip because I had trauma from my father passing away.
Yeah.
Not trauma. I was just fucking heartbroken, bro.
Yeah.
This is heartbroken, and everything was falling apart around me because of that. Not his fault, not my mum's fault, not my wife's. It's just how I was dealing with it was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I was in denial for a while, and it was just a really bad relationship with how I was with my emotions then.
Yeah.
And I essentially forgot or became completely fearful of love.
Okay.
So doing the psychedelic kind of broke through that entire barrier.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was fearful of love because of death.
Basically fearful of love because of loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew that, and at the time, only thing I knew was like death equals pain because of love.
Yes.
I was like,
Mate, that's exactly why I don't get a dog.
I was like, nah,
Yeah.
But that in the trip, I kind of realized that it was just a complete switch. I was like, fuck, I'm so grateful for this pain because of this immense amount of love that I was able to have.
Yeah.
And it was just like this completely, it was like just, it's like, oh, my glass is half empty, my glass is half full.
Yeah.
I was like, it went from pain to gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's what flipped the switch. And like the trip itself, like it was about 8 hours.
Wow. That's even longer than I thought.
And
I was like, I don't want to surrender to it for 2.
yeah, and it was fucking beautiful though. I spent probably a good 6, if not more, hours crying. It was
right.
just.
You're really not selling it well.
But it was like, dude, it was the most like necessary thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with that at the time where your dad's gone, and
like it was years worth of tears that I had held back.
Yeah,
there was a big wall that got broken down.
Okay,
and the tears and what I was feeling was wonderful.
Right,
like it was coming out, but I wasn't like, I didn't come out of it feeling like, oh my god, that was the most fucking traumatic thing I've ever done.
Yeah, you feel like a weight was sort of lifted off
massively.
you? Yeah.
The weight was gone. The eyes were open.
Yeah.
The heart was open. A new chapter had begun.
Yeah.
So it sounds scary, but it was the complete opposite.
How do you set that up? And don't obviously go into too many details if anybody's going to get in trouble for it. But like, how do you set something like that up where it's like a safe place? And
so, and that was, I've been wanting to do psychedelics for a little while.
Yeah.
But I was also always fearful of the setting, of the environment.
Absolutely.
Who was going to trip set me, essentially.
Yeah.
My wife's a counselor. She runs her own practice now in Redcliffe.
Okay.
And she knew that I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Clearly. She's good at what she does. And and I said to her, I was like, I want to find someone. I want to do a psychedelic trip.
Yeah.
I want to do a psilocybin.
You'd obviously done a bit of research to know even what that was, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I knew that's what I wanted, and I oddly enough just had a bit of a calling towards it. The more I kind of thought about it, the more I just kind of kept getting drawn to it.
Yeah.
Eventually, she actually found a psychologist in Australia,
Right.
who facilitates, provides, and sits through the entire process with you. Not only that, we did sessions, like
Prior to.
counseling sessions or psych sessions.
Yeah.
About the intentions, about why, how, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then after that, pretty much had my intentions ready and set.
Yeah.
And I flew to Melbourne to do it. He's now in Sunshine Coast,
Right.
by the way.
Right. Nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. No. It's one of those things that you gotta choose to do yourself. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless it's coming from in here.
Yeah.
And he has in his practice, which was just a home practice, but nonetheless, it was a wonderful little place. It was just, you go into his room. He's got a lovely bed where you lay down on, get all cuddled up. There's like this devil's ivy vine growing through the entire place. And at first, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
I was going to say, I'm like, you're in a bed in a dude's house.
Yeah.
And he's about to give you some psychedelics.
You're right.
But then you're going to leave walking funny.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to be a penguin?
I know. That's why I'm freaked. I'm like, obviously it worked out well, and I'm still freaking out for you.
But then my wife was there too, because she wanted to kind of get a feeler for it all.
Yeah. During your thing?
No,
just
just at the beginning when we were introducing ourselves.
Yeah.
And he's when we presented him, we met him. He was a bit of a hippie. Like, he looked like a bit of a hippie.
Yeah.
But then, as we were walking through the office, dude, it's like a doctorate of psychology.
Yeah.
Fucking certificates that went down the length of this wall, and like, clearly the guy had been doing this for fucking years.
Yeah.
And then we had a really good meeting, like, prior to doing anything. He was pretty much been doing this for, like, psychedelic treatments for 20 years.
Yeah.
All the way from MDMA to ayahuasca to psilocybin.
Wow.
Everything.
Yeah.
And other things. And
it blows my mind that that's even in Australia.
yeah, well, it's not legal.
Right.
It's not, like, his process isn't legal, but nonetheless,
Right.
he offers it.
Okay.
And if you want to reach out, I'll give you his details. He's still doing it.
Right.
And then once we had a good chat, my wife was like, he really knows what he's doing, and I felt the same way.
Yeah.
So then she leaves, and I pretty much lay down. The reason you lay down is because if you're kind of standing up or you're sitting up, this was a therapeutic way of taking mushroom.
Right.
So by sitting down and you had a blindfold on, not a blindfold, like a night thing. What do you call it?
Yeah, did blindfold at work. Shades.
Like
the girls wear to go to sleep with the gel in them and shit. But not gel. I know what you mean. I can't even fucking think what they call it.
Yeah, like a night
visor.
like a night visor, whatever.
Yeah, right.
A blindfold.
Blindfold.
So you lay down, you put that on, and
So you blindfold in a guy's bed in his house.
Well, not his bed. It was
you
the
would
bed.
hope.
It was a single bed in the practice.
Right.
And he gives you a tea that's made out of just the mushroom, pure mushroom.
Right.
And then you lay down and off you go. In about 40 minutes, it slowly starts to kick in. It's very, very physical to begin with, and then I remember I went through it.
What do you mean very physical?
Oh, you start to get a bit yawny. Your belly starts to feel a bit warm, and then all of a sudden, it's like a weird disconnection from your body starts to happen. Like, you start to feel almost like you can feel through the cotton of the bed.
Right.
And then because you have your blindfold on, it turns to a completely mental and spiritual experience. At one point, I was completely out of the body. I was complete in another world. But I pretty much what I went in for. I started to see firsthand about things about my dad and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm bawling my eyes out, bawling my eyes out.
Are you aware you're bawling? Like, are you?
You're completely literal and conscious.
Right.
So it's not like if you're stoned. It's not like if you're drunk. It's not like if you've done coke.
Yeah.
You are like how we are talking now.
Yeah.
Is how pretty much I was on psilocybin. I was completely aware of the way I was talking, everything going on, but at the same time, neuralistically, my mind was just being given access to information that was very taboo.
So, like, I'm trying to build a picture here. Like, if you're fully aware, is the mental aspect of it because you've got your eyes closed? Like, if you were to take that off, do you sort of snap out of it a bit?
No. So I'll explain to you what happened.
Okay.
So I was crying because I started to kind of see my dad and have these epiphanies, beautiful epiphanies. And then I'm like, and he's, by the way, he's there the whole time. He's just reading a book, and he's just there if you need him. Obviously, if you don't need him at all, that's fine. But he's there, trip sitting you the entire time.
Yeah.
And I go and take my blindfold off, and the light from the room, it scared the life out of me.
Right.
Because when I took it off and I looked at the light, not from the roof, just the light coming in naturally.
Yeah.
I remembered coming out of my mum.
Wow.
Like I remembered the moment where I first saw light.
Right.
And I couldn't handle it. I was like, what the fuck? And I just, for about, I asked him later on, I was like, how long did I hold my face like that for? He's like, for a good 15, 20 minutes. You just stayed like this.
Good Lord.
Because I couldn't, I was processing it.
Yeah.
And once I saw that, it was there. All I could see was the first time I saw light. And I remember seeing like a hospital room and weird old lights and stuff. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
It was like this access, like I said, it was like you're accessing information that would otherwise been
forgotten. Yeah.
Anyway, I eventually took it off and allowed the light to slowly come in. And then when I opened my eyes, I could see him, I could see the room. So like I said, I knew where I was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the devil's ivy was breathing. So it was like that. And there was a huge mango tree or something, an enormous tree outside.
Yeah.
And I could see like these pulsating energies flowing through it. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So it's very visual. You're not out of it, but you're not back into reality.
Yeah.
You're very far out of reality.
Yeah.
And at that point we start talking. So I could completely, I had the full capacity to explain to him what I was feeling, what I was seeing, and what I was confused about. So we're sitting here, we're talking like a normal psychologist would talk to in a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I kind of get to the end of that topic, that conversation, and I'm like, thanks, man. I think I got what I needed out of it. And he's like, Chris, you're only an hour in.
Yeah, see, fuck, that's what I'm talking about.
And I'm like,
you got 7 hours to go, buddy.
Well, we didn't say that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah. And I was like, what? He was like, just go in, lay it back down, just enjoy the rest of the trip. He's like, this was the painful part.
Yeah.
So I did. And that's when I laid back down and when I surrendered, dude.
Yeah.
I just got all the answers I've ever asked forever,
Wow.
And yeah, it was, like I said, it was the most transformative thing I've ever done. And then since then, it was just a small, gradual implementation of those things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, after that, I led myself into back into some bad habits. So my implementation of what I learned wasn't 100%, but I was aware. I was finally aware of the things that were the bad habits.
Yeah.
and the things I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And then after that, last year I went to a meditation retreat in Sri Lanka
Right.
where we did breath work for like 5 hours,
Yeah.
non-stop. And I remember, and this is for a good week we did this. It was yoga, meditation, breath work for a full week.
Yeah.
And also just a really good, healthy, like plant-based diet. Not like Bible bashing vegan, but it's just really good
Yeah.
diet, like detoxing foods.
Yeah.
And I remember through a lot of the meditations and the breath works, I was actually having a deeper experience than I was having from the psilocybin.
Yeah, I've heard that because it floods your brain with oxygen and all sorts of stuff doing.
It was it was almost like I was creating DMT in my mind.
Yeah.
Just by doing the breath work. Some of the breath works, you end up curling up because your body's, going through so much oxygen, and you actually go through a bit of like a panic state,
Yeah.
And some of the moments in that was just as powerful, if not more powerful than the psilocybin itself.
Yeah.
And
It's like you're basically choosing to hyperventilate.
somewhat,
Yeah.
yeah. But you
I say that with like a fucking, I don't know anything, but it's
yeah,
like,
it's in the basics of it, yeah.
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 Which causes chemical releases in your brain and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
You see, the doing the psychedelic was a medicine. It was you kind of walked up to the gates and you opened the doors
Yeah.
to those questions and to the things that you're kind of seeking to find out about yourself. And then going to do this retreat, it was like a boot camp to get to that,
Yeah, right.
because you had to put yourself in that state and you had to spend hours and hours and hours of breathing and concentrating and trying to stay in that rhythm. Like it was full on, very full on. So when you did reach that state, that mental state, it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it was like, you worked to kind of get there.
Yeah.
And ever since then, dude, it's just been like, I've had a wonderful reminder of, at least once a year, I need to take time away from anything and everyone just to kind of recalibrate.
Yeah.
Get away from cars, get away from my friends, get away even from my wife, and just have a bit of me time. So a few weeks ago, I went and did another mushroom trip.
Yeah.
I did a nature walk through the forest.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, ever since then, like it's been a wonderful reset for the mind, body and soul.
Yeah.
Just to kind of figure out exactly what's healthy for me and what's not.
Yeah.
And it slowed the momentum of the ego
Okay.
to stop chasing things that I didn't need to chase. And it kind of reminded me of the things that were important
Yeah.
and to stay in my lane and just to work towards the things that actually make me happy.
Yeah, right. What was that turning moment though, where, because like from someone who, I mean, obviously, or potentially very different, but from someone who is still in what I would call, see, mine's very different though. Like I chase what I chase, and I don't even fuck what anybody thinks. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I wanted to do this show because I'm like, I love stories, and this is a way to take it to another level versus just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I want to do, because I love what Rogan does, and I'm like, I need to find a way to do something like that because I really enjoy it. The same as the vehicle review stuff. It's like I loved Top Gear. I want to find a way to do that sort of stuff, which is it's all fulfilling things that I love, not based on, I mean, obviously you don't want to do it and have people go, that's shit, but that reaction's not why I do it anyway. So it's like at a point where you're chasing something where I'm like, I'm chasing everything I'm chasing, I believe, but I'm starting to kind of question it, but like, I believe I'm chasing the stuff I'm chasing and pushing it the way I'm pushing because of what I want to achieve for me. because I really enjoy the stuff. Like, I'm curious as to what that point was, because obviously you were saying yes to a lot of things, you're doing a lot of stuff, but it's in an area where you're like, I want this. This is what I want. This is everything I've been working towards. Getting to a point where people are asking me to do shit.
Yeah.
What is that turning point for you where you go, actually, it's not what I want? Like, what happened? Was there a moment where you went, something's got to change, or did you just start pulling back from it naturally and later on work out why? Or
Yeah, you know what? A big one was the time that I was spending at home, the time I was spending with my wife.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of time where the energy, the exercise, the urgency of doing all these other things just became more important. You know, it became more important, and it took up a lot of my time. Yeah. And I was also, you know, I was drawing less. I was doing less art because of all these other things. And then I'm like, you know, my wife's the best thing in my life. Yeah. And she's like my emotional fucking recharge. Yeah. You know, I need to not being sexual, but I need to like plug into her. Yeah. I need to connect with her. Yeah. To kind of keep my own momentum going as a husband, as a man, as the things that I want to be for her. Yeah. And I kind of realized that, you know, I'm saying yes to all these things that aren't giving back to me. I'm just saying yes to all these things because of ego and desire and lust. Yeah. For the sake of saying I've done them, for the sake of ticking off that box. Yeah. For the sake of doing something new. You know, and it was, dude, there was no gratification coming from it. In the great scheme of things. Yeah. There was no great reward. There was no thing that I was like, fuck yes, you know, that's it. Okay. Even the success of doing some of those things was led to, what do I do next? Yeah. There was no pause. There was no win. There was no time to even to celebrate with my wife of the thing that I've achieved. Yeah. It was just, okay, what's next? And I realized that wasn't really me. That wasn't really, I was going after something that I thought I should be doing. Yeah, okay. Not what I really wanted to do. Now it's all circled back to spending a lot of time drawing. Yeah. And spending a lot of time doing these paintings that I'm doing, that I enjoy doing, which are for no one. The whole reason I'm doing these paintings is that I could hold an exhibition. Because for the last 10 years that I've had my business, I don't have a single artwork. Right. Because everything I do, I sell. Yeah. Now that's I'm not complaining. That's a wonderful thing that's happened as a consequence of the business. Yeah. But nonetheless, I've got nothing. I've done thousands of artworks and none of them I have. Right. But now I'm like, I want to do an exhibition, and I want to showcase a collection of pieces. Yeah. That have nothing to do with cars. Right. You know, it's just an expression of my creative outlook with the skills that I've harnessed over the last couple of years. Yeah. So by saying no to all these things and kind of recalibrating my involvement with all these other things that I thought were going to be beneficial, I've already realized and found this place where I can put my energy in a creative, authentic way. Yeah. That's also going to be rewarding, because I can finally say, as an artist, you know, I've held an exhibition, I've done pieces that are not collaborated nor influenced by anyone else. Yeah. I've delegated time with my wife, weekends and date nights, you know, with the most important person in my life. Yeah. And in doing so, I've got free time. I've got time to go to the gym. I've got time to, you know, cook food for my dog and look after her and clean the house and paint and see mates and do shit like this. Yeah. You know, and then all the other shit, it's just white noise. The commentating, the YouTubing, all the other little bits and pieces. I do it, and I strictly say to myself, just as a hobby,
Yeah.
just as a, I got time this week.
Yeah.
And I give myself gratitude for the sake that there's actually time to spare.
Yeah.
Without feeling guilty of wasting time.
G'day, legends. To help support the brands and support us, get onto our website and check out who we've chosen to partner with. For everything custom 4x4 and accessories, visit wildsidegarage.com. While you're there, don't forget to check the links for the discount section, where you can get 10% off brands like Carbon Off-Road, MAXTRAX, and In-House Fabrication. Remember to like and subscribe to help us grow the channel and bring you even more from Wildside. Do you think you would have, because you were at a point where you knew you were getting pulled in too many different directions and your attention wasn't where it should have been before you did the first trip, right? So do you think that moment you would have led yourself here anyway? Do you think it's a bit of a byproduct of that first experience that
Led myself where?
like to a point where you self-corrected?
No.
Okay.
No. It took that trip. It also took something traumatic to happen last year.
Yeah.
As a monumental eye opener.
Right. Okay.
As to where my heart and my attention needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's because of those things that have reset the way I kind of look at my time and look at who I want to be.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get on a note for the arts side of things? Where do you, something like that, we were just looking at that chrome lady. Does that start as like a tenth of that idea and evolve as you do it, or do you sort of have a picture in your head and you try and recreate it on paper? Or like, where does that come from?
Oh, that's like doing these paintings. I started them late last year, about mid last year.
Yeah.
These paintings kind of came from the essence of when I went to this meditation retreat.
Yeah.
Was the first time I'd ever actually accepted and appreciated my femininity for the first time ever, because I was raised by my mum, lived with my mum and nan.
Yeah.
The father figure really wasn't there.
Yeah.
For most of my life, so there was always strong feminine energy in my life. And through school, even sometimes, I'd get the odd joke or comment, "Oh, you must be gay," for certain, just for jokes I would say, or mannerisms and shit like that. And I used to kind of revert to that with masculinity, thinking, I need to be macho here.
Yeah.
And then when I was on this this meditation retreat, which I also spent fucking half the time crying, to be honest, I kind of broke through the masculine barrier, and realized like the femininity within me is it's a monumental strength.
Yeah.
And I need to stop seeing that as an enemy. And since then, that applied to my creativity.
Okay.
Hence, doing all these feminine pieces with a masculine touch. So I'm doing these women with a masculine, materialistic chrome perspective.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of
like a blend.
It's kind of this blend that I'm, and it, honestly, all this is just it's me just taking a new path through a creative route that I haven't gone down. So I'm doing different faces that I like of that was the first one I ever did.
Push it up a bit higher, Shawnee.
That was the first one I ever did. And that was just a drawing.
That's all just pencils.
That's just pencils.
Good Lord, man.
That was the first one I tried, and I was like, I could do that. This came out really cool.
So, but that image, is that something that is in your head and you go, okay, like, it's almost like a memory of the grill of a fucking, I don't know, HQ.
Yeah,
it's like you've got it in your head and you create it.
So for this one in particular, I used a face just of a model. I had a Cadillac DeVille.
Yep.
In the sun, in the sky, which is some cool reflections.
Yeah.
And then I saw like a photo of a silver, not a chrome, but a silver girl. I think it was done with AI.
Yeah.
And I kind of just put them together and used them as a reference. And then just kind of went all for it. And then after that, I did the first painting. And you know what? It's actually been a lovely collaboration of using references that I would normally not use.
Yeah.
And just a creative freedom of just randomness. Because chrome is so random.
Yeah, with what it reflects on what angle, and
Chrome can kind of be anything. It can be super simplistic, or it can be very detailed. And so this I went completely overboard, because I just, sometimes with Chrome it can be extremely reflective with many things around it. Or sometimes Chrome could just be a simple blue and black, if it's just a basic reflection.
Yeah.
So, and I love drawing Chrome, like on my trucks and my cars.
Yeah.
Like Chrome was, I think it's still to this day like my best feature that I can draw.
Right.
So being able to do an entire face that's curvy, it's beautiful, it's, and there's something that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Has just kind of been the essence of doing these paintings.
Right.
And from time to time, like I'll use, I'll find a photo of a girl that's oiled up.
All right. Because that'll throw the light, you mean?
They'll give these reflections.
Yeah.
And, honestly, sometimes with, which one was it? It was I did like a gold. It probably won't be on the socials because I haven't posted all the paintings yet.
Yeah.
No, I did a Marilyn. And I couldn't get the hair right. Yeah. So I ended up just using some AI to kind of figure out, or to show me. It's like, what does 1,000 strands of hair look like going chrome?
Right.
Because a lot of what I'm used to doing, especially drawing these cars, I'm drawing from a reference.
Yes.
So honestly, I'm a really good photocopier.
Right. Yeah.
So using the ability of, so her hair.
Yeah, right.
So I did the body, I kind of made it all up. It's probably wise. Now that I go back at it, some of the bits are, obviously used the lips from another reference, the eyes from another reference, but the hair I struggled with. So I used like an AI thing to kind of come up with the hair.
How tall? What is that? It's got to be 6 foot tall.
It's 2 meters tall.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Wow.
No, yeah, something like that. It's a big piece. I had to get up a little box to do the top of it.
So can somebody... This is all part of the collection that you're holding on to?
Yeah. So on the 14th of November, I'm hosting the exhibition in Kippering in Redcliffe.
Wow.
Yeah. It'll be 3 days. So it'll be Friday night, the 14th.
Yeah.
And in the gallery, it'll be open on the 15th and the 16th during the day.
So what happens on the Friday night?
It's just like the opening night.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be unveiling a signature piece that night. And I'll do a speech and we'll have a few drinks and music and everything.
Yeah.
So that'll be the opening night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely going to have to get along to that.
Come
that's
down.
awesome. Yeah, well, fuck, I'll be there.
Yeah. So that's one of the pieces that'll be up on display. And that big chrome girl that you saw before, she's taller than that.
The one without a head?
Yeah.
That's bigger than that?
It's bigger than that Marilyn.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit in this wall. Definitely. Definitely. This is one of my masterpieces. Wait for it. There you go.
I love it. I did see something popped up. It must have been. It was dates. It was back here. Like it was like it was like a Corvette, like, then Corvette now.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
This thing.
If you go to my Facebook page, which is Car Drawings by Christian Cross, most of the photos go on there.
Yeah,
and yeah. So
are you ever gonna? Would you do? Because obviously, can you have it like scanned and sell a print?
Yeah, on the exhibition night, I'll be selling limited prints.
Right.
We're not going to scan them. My mate Nico from Malacca Media,
yeah.
he's going to take some high resolution photos with the right lighting and all that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have like high res prints up for sale.
Yeah.
And
I want one.
Like a limited, A2. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to sell 10 of each.
Yeah.
Like of each piece.
Yeah, yeah. I want one in here.
And yeah, man. So that's. So I'll do a limited set of prints for the night, and they'll be for sale, obviously, at the event.
Yeah.
Keep going down. I definitely did a before and after, or like a.
Yeah, there was like 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, I did them in a row.
Yeah.
There. See where the Fast and Furious car is?
There you go.
No.
Across the left.
Left
and up.
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
There.
No, down. Yeah, there.
That one.
Click on that, and then you should be able to scroll up, scroll down.
Yes, I think that was 2004 and 2025.
Yeah, but still, 2004. That's still pretty cool. Like you've got the kick in of the front chrome area, like.
Yeah, the little.
Yeah,
the XYs were a nightmare to draw.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it.
The grills and that were a nightmare.
Yeah,
that's why. See, this is why I get sneaky. So these days I draw the XYs in a low angle because the grills go straight at a certain angle.
Tricks of the trade.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. Go click. Yeah, the left button. That's yeah. There you go. Yeah, see, I'm probably still up the top. That's probably still better than I do.
Yeah.
But that bottom one's cool. That looks like you've built a model and stuck it in front of a little house.
But yeah, see, I love drawing chrome.
Yeah.
Chrome is like one of my favorite things to draw.
Wow.
But I was just overdrawing cars, man. Overdrawing engines.
Yeah.
But I could draw chrome with my eyes closed.
Statesman's.
I was going to say, how is it with AI?
What do you mean?
Like just in general, like anyone can sort of produce
Yeah.
some stuff with AI nowadays.
Pretty much. Dude, I think AI has. I think it's just like everything in what we do in our society. It's just another tool for making life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just like automated factories and robots closing bottle lids now and whatever. Yeah. It's just another tool for the great scheme of things in a larger portion. Yeah. But I think those who have significant skill in a certain trade, you'll still have significant amount of work because AI, as good as it is, I don't think it'll ever compare to the authenticity of genuine talent or skill or years of harnessing that skill.
I think if anything, it's going to get to a point where it'll get good enough that it'll be able to create a lot of different shit.
Yeah.
But I think what that actually does is there is going to be, if not more, demand for someone like yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like people like yourself, it's like anything. As things progressively get better, there's less and less people in that industry. And you can look at that from way back.
Yeah.
It's like as these AI images are starting to come out and unless it's just the stupid programs that I play with, they still have dramas with words. And you see it even when they do,
like number plates.
Yeah.
Yes.
They still, it's like
Yes.
it's like, what the fucking language is that?
Yeah.
Or the word of a badge on a car.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when they do the concept,
It's like
yeah, it's nonsense. But even if they get to a point where, and it's speed, you put in this prompt, it spits you out something, you're like, holy shit, right? But I think as these things get better, there's going to be less and less people doing what you do. But I think it's like a scarcity thing. The less of something that exists, the more valuable it is.
Yeah.
So you're going to get people that are, I'm a fucking AI shit. What do you cost?
Yeah.
You're like, well, there's an extra zero now.
Yeah.
You
Look,
know?
I think it's a great tool for businesses that need a quick logo for their restaurant. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, descriptions and if you suck at writing, you suck at programming, you suck at making your website right. AI can do it all now. So I think in the great scheme of things, it's just another great tool that we have access to as part of a modern society.
It can be used as a starting point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've used it creatively before. It's fine.
Oh, I did it for the show sign. Like I ended up putting in a prompt of like I wanted rust, and a bit of wood, a bit of rust, bit of metal, like bolts, chains, and stuff. And I was like, pardon me, put all that into this grok thing or whatever it is that we got. And I was like, give me some ideas. And it was not one of them. I went, that's it. But I went, I like that bit and I like that bit, and I created my own idea out of it. So it's a starting point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think because also, I think anything that comes from anything creative, I'm talking about, I'm going to just use an artistic concept here, but artistically, most artists will take things from other artworks, other artists, and, turn it into their own theme, their own style.
Yeah.
So whatever. Like if you're using this, you're using Picasso, then you use a bit of AI, you use this, you use that, doesn't matter. As long as you create something original, good on you. Same with graphic designers, car designers. But I think the only thing that's detrimental and disappointing is when it's used completely on its own to replace or not even replace, to fake skill. Yes. Or to fake knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you're writing an essay for school and you use AI, if you're a fucking doctor, and you finish and you got the best grades, and you're cutting someone open, you've just used AI for the last 5 years. I don't know if that can happen, but nonetheless, I'm just using it as an example. That's a dangerous thing.
Absolutely.
I know they have systems now in the universities and schools that AI can pick up AIs. I understand that, but nonetheless, it's one of those things. I think it can really harness laziness or lack of skill in a way where it can be dangerous or it can be profitable for the wrong reasons. But it's just like anything that's done on a fake start. It doesn't last.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I've gone to when I was looking for galleries to run for the exhibition. One thing I ran into, and this was an interesting thing because it was pointed out by another artist that was helping me find galleries. She said to me, she's like, don't go to these 3 galleries in Brisbane. And these are, I'm not going to point them out, I'm not going to say their names, but they're major galleries in Brisbane. Ones that have held Andy Warhol's before, ones that have held, what's his name? I forgot. Anyway, beautiful paintings.
Big names.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Rembrandt. And
Rembrandt.
Rembrandt.
Okay.
So they've hosted these galleries of high-end, beautiful, either modern or classic art. Genuine, good stuff. And they're recently, in the last 2 years, opened up exhibition spaces and competitions. Competitions with prize monies of up to 50 grand for the best AI art.
Right.
And I don't mean like someone that grabs an AI and then draws on it or sculpts it. I just mean the best typing that you can do. And straight from the computer onto a canvas or onto a print. No actual artistic skill. From a paintbrush or AutoCAD or Procreate or Illustrator, charcoal, anything. They've just used AI. So there's these competitions happening right now, and galleries displaying AI art as art. That's and it's created as like this big. Oh wow! Look how amazing it is! And don't get me wrong, the pictures are phenomenal. Right? Because you can copy a Da Vinci line art artwork and, you know, turn it into a goat. You know,
Yeah.
You can take a Michelangelo Sistine Chapel, and instead of having, you know, the fingers touching of the creation of life, you can have fucking two gay guys fingering each other. You know, like, you know,
They got dark quick.
well, you can make it whatever you want
Yeah.
to suit the cultural trend
Yeah.
of the current time, for it to be even a political thing
Yeah.
that's accepted, you know, and it's seen as art. And I think that's the scary thing about art these days. It's that shock value is now almost more important than talent.
Unless it offends people. And then everybody has a whinge.
Well, again, that's shock value.
True.
And that right there is art, isn't it? Like, in New York, they just put this sculpture of a tongue that looks like a penis with tongues coming out of it and water squirting from the top. And like, that was this big, I don't know if you can find it. Look at the New York sculpture of tongues.
Dude, tongue sculpture. Just
Tongue
Google
sculpture
it.
in New York. You know, and that was a I know it was $1 million or definitely a couple $100,000. And it's like, you know, where has the artistry gone? It's just a social shock factor bullshit piece. But it's, you know, it's paid for and funded by the New York City Council. You know, it's thousands and thousands of dollars put into this horrible piece that looks like a penis, where kids are walking around and families are looking at it. You know, what happened to sculptures like, you know, of David? You know, what happened to fountains that took 30 years to carve? You know, I think that's what I mean. Like, I think talent is slowly working its way into the back streets. But like you said, you know, there's going to be a point where they just become people with genuine talent, artistic talent.
Yeah.
Will come out shining from this.
And become very, very valuable.
Yeah.
Because it's the people that, it's like anything. Like, you know, you get to a point, you know, the guys that have got stupid money and they all have to have something that nobody else has got.
Yeah.
Well, that's when people that are still creating themselves will be, you know, coming into their own, because it's like, you know, they might turn around and basically just be like, I don't care what it is, make me something that's not done by computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the art thing, there was someone, it might have been a bit of a piss take.
On the top there, on the right. Go down. Yeah, you clicked on it. That thing. 10-foot tall pink tongue. Look at that.
It's a penis foot.
It's a penis foot. It's like some sort of demented fucking elephant foot fungus looking thing. I hate shit like this.
That is the most retarded thing I think I've seen this year.
Yeah. And that's
Good Lord.
That's art, and it's in a like a modern art precinct, you know. Yeah,
That baffles the mind.
I think that's where we, you know, that's one of the many examples of the downfall of creativity and art.
But that's what I was saying. There was somebody in a show, an art show. I don't know if it was a piss. I mean, obviously he was taking the piss, but there's an art show walking around and he's left a shoe. And it's these people standing around and like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's like,
God,
it's my
look.
fucking shoe.
Yeah. Oh, the concept behind that.
Yeah.
shit.
You're
Well,
like, fuck off.
well, it's just as good as old mate sticking the banana on the wall. You've seen that, right? $6.1 million. Can
What?
you look that up? 6.1 million. I'm pretty sure it was $6.1 million. A guy with duct tape taped a banana, a rotting banana, on a wall. It was sold for $6.1 million. There's no canvas. There's no structure. It was the gallery wall, duct tape, and a rotting banana. And I think the next day a guy came in and ate it. Yeah.
That's fucking... This may take the cake from the penis, foot, dick, lip, tongue.
There it
thing.
is. Look at that. 120,000. No, I swear it sold for more than that. Maybe it was 120,000. What did I get $6.1 million for?
120,000 is still retarded.
Right. That's why I have a banana stuck on my studio on the wall. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I don't have a word for that.
But I think also in the art world, there's been the reality of it is that a lot of, in the art world, we're seeing a lot of laundering happening.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of people that can, if you need to launder...
money, right?
If you need to launder
right.
$10 million,
yeah.
well, let's say you need to take $10 million overseas.
Yeah.
You buy a $10 million painting.
Yeah,
Actually, who was telling us about that? Yeah, so a lot of the wealthy people, where they will buy a bit of art, say for $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They then get it valuated at $100,000, and then they use that artwork to donate it to
as a tax deduction.
as a tax deduction.
Yeah.
But it's cost them $1,000, $5,000, whatever. But then they've gifted it, and they've gifted it as a $100,000 piece of art. So they've got a tax write-off of $100,000 now.
Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah, there's so many. It's like that's what I reckon though.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to do any write-offs with me, because I haven't run into anyone like that yet.
Right.
So if you on the 14th of November, if you need to get rid of some cash, come see me. But yeah, I think that's a lot of that's what's happening. One of the coolest things, I think it was Banksy. He did an artwork. He sold it for a pretty penny, and on the chopping block when it's sold, in the actual frame,
Went through the chopper or something.
yeah, it's shredded.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's fucking genius.
That's very cool.
But then I think it was then after it done that, it was actually worth more.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see something about that. Was a while ago.
Yeah, it was like about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was worth more. That pissed
That,
him off.
that only
How fucking dumb is that?
yeah. That started doing the rounds again on, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram not that long ago.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's look, I mean, I think there's also probably a part of that upper crust of wealth that just boast. It's like, forget what the piece is. It's like, this cost me X amount. It's the bragging rights of the amount that was spent.
Yeah, it's an ego thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
it's like, who can buy the dumbest shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember watching one where I think there's like a little trampoline,
Yeah.
and the guy's got like a bit of
Sharpie?
or something like that.
And he goes up on the wall.
Yeah, he comes across, jumps on a little trampoline, and just lands, but he's got his hand out against the wall.
Yeah.
And puts a mark on the wall, and that was the art.
So I think the gallery was paying him $600,000, something like that, because it was at a gallery,
Yeah.
and they paid him. I think it was $600,000, and yeah, he was just running up, and then he just go back, do it again, and everyone was like,
A lot of those people just need to be slapped.
yeah.
Like, that's just, you're using money on dumb shit.
At the same time, like, people are enjoying it, and people are making money out of it.
If there's money to be made, it's worth it, isn't it? That's what it is. Like, if there's money to be made, the gallery's going to be like, fuck, give me more of this shit. Yeah. We can just clean that off.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't even have to pay for couriers anymore. This is great.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the insurance on a Rembrandt? Taking a Rembrandt painting from one place to another.
Yeah.
The courier, the insurance.
Yeah.
Like the security.
Yeah.
You know, like art like that. The cost of displaying, exhibiting, things like that would be hundreds of thousands, if not millions,
Yeah.
just for the cost of doing that. Why do that when you just get these, you know?
And then you get a tourist sitting on a chair and breaks it.
Oh yeah, was it
What was that?
who was it? It was the guy that pulled his ear off. What was his name?
Pulled his ear
Van
off.
Gogh. I think it was
cut his ear off.
Yeah, sorry, cut his ear off. It was
Just pulling your ear off would be a fucking hard way to do it.
It was Van Gogh's. You know, he did that to gift it to a girlfriend.
I heard it was for some stupid reason like that, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't right.
No. You know.
Interesting guy. Just a guy.
But
He spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of his time in like a psych hospital, and he painted every single day.
But wasn't he one of those guys that he never sold a thing? It was only after he was dead they became valuable.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate. Actually, we were talking about this. That's not the ultimate failure in life. The ultimate failure in life is fucking becoming back reincarnated as a bird and then realizing you're a chicken and you can't fly.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't that suck?
That would
Wouldn't that
suck.
suck?
I never thought about that.
You
way.
pop out and you're like, fuck you, I got wings, I can fly.
free.
And then your mum walks in, it's a chicken, you're like, oh, fuck.
No, you just wake up, you're in a farm, you're just in like one of those little cages. You're like,
Well, yeah, well,
shit.
that'd suck too.
Yeah, because this was this one where it was obviously on display. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
mucking
thought it
around.
was a chicken. Oh, right.
Look, there's a part of me that thinks this is bullshit. Because if that was genuinely Van Gogh's fucking chair,
Pretty easy access.
that's like
Yeah, that's one of those things that, like at Movie World, where you walk out of the room and it goes, "Arr," and it's like back up because it's all on strings
Right.
and shit. You know what I mean? Like where the Batman ride.
nah,
shit
that can't
collapses.
be. No, that can't be. That's why would
Van
why
Gogh
would
wouldn't
someone
have done that.
bedazzle a fucking no? Okay, no, that's done. That's not his. Idiot tourist. It's not an idiot tourist. It's a fucking idiot.
I don't know that Van Gogh would have fucking bedazzled a chair.
No, but someone's obviously maybe they've taken it and bedazzled it. I don't know. Either way, if that was Van Gogh's chair, and they've done that, it's already ruined. So the tourist honestly just did the world a favor and just got rid of it.
This is true.
Yeah, that's art.
What the hell is that?
Oh,
It's a MX-5.
Just go on YouTube. He actually built a super cool car out of this thing.
What do they call it? They call them a Miata. I'm pretty sure. That's
In the
what it
States,
is.
it's a Miata.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here it's an
Why do they
MX-5.
change the names of movies?
What?
So, The Rock with Stifler was in Australia was
Oh,
called.
Welcome to the Jungle.
Yes.
Yeah.
In America, it was released as The Rundown.
I did see that.
Why
I
did they
thought-
change it?
Maybe it most likely be some.
I'm
sort of
glad that you
copyright
actually
thingy.
pointed that out. So I thought that was like some sort of weird, like.
Someone has probably got the rights to copyright, and you know, because like
Like
you
Hungry
copyright
Jack's and
something-
Burger King and shit.
Yeah, you can copyright it in your country, but then you've also got to pay for the rights to copyright it in each
See-
individual country and all stuff, and it's the cost involved in it. But someone might have had that already,
Right.
owned the rights to it here.
So somebody owns the rights to The Rundown in Australia, so they had to call it Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, maybe some little like art film or something that came out that they called it that, so they had the rights to that, and that the American movie could.
See,
do
I
it.
noticed that a while ago about that movie, and I thought it was one of those weird conspiracies of like, you know, when time changes, but you're the only one that
Right.
remembers what happened.
No, but
But-
the Rundown doesn't even make
Clearly,
sense.
Oh,
I'm
who
not a
knows?
special
But
enough
there'd
for
obviously be some sort of reason why they didn't use it.
But Stifler in the movie, when The Rock gets caught in that leg trap, it's like, welcome to the jungle, tough guy.
Well, I
And
think
it's
you can
like-
still say that.
But he never at any point in the movie says rundown.
No.
It's like, don't come over here and run me down. Like, it's dumb.
I know, mess
Rundown
with
doesn't. The Welcome to the Jungle fits better anyway.
Just message to Rock and ask him. I can find out.
Yeah, I'll put that on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Well, if he's listening, there's a
He's-
chair ready for him to sit in.
Yeah.
Well, he can come over here and explain his tequila because it's shit.
Is it?
Oh, dude, I waited so long to try that. I thought, this guy never puts his name to anything bad, and it was like drinking fucking metho.
Oh, really?
I still haven't tried Ryan Reynolds' Aviator Gin yet, though.
I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, he's like, he does that, though. He buys shit and then uses his star power to market it and then sell it for shit tons more.
Yeah, he did the same thing with some
Soccer team.
programming as well. There was like some computer programming thing
Did
that
he?
he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he's-
Steve-O did part of the ad
Right.
for it.
Right.
It was like some sort of taxing or some sort of like computer system that navigated a calendar. So I don't know. It was something to do with business.
Right.
But and he paid Steve-O to do the conversation.
Yeah.
But while Steve-O was doing the pitch, he had to eat a habanero pepper. Not a habanero pepper.
I
what-
remember. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He was like,
Yeah. He had a fucking hard time with it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but he does that. Like, his gin was, he bought it. And you look this up. I think he paid like 1.5 or 2 million for it or something like that. And he did his typical version of marketing. And he's something to the effect of like, you know, when the kids are giving you the shits and, you know, like just being a smart ass.
Yeah. No, he did the thing also with who's Wolverine's name?
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Hugh Jackman he did a clip.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is shit."
Yeah, when they made a video for
Yeah,
each other's
yeah,
product.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's what he did. And then he sold it for like, find out how much Ryan Reynolds paid for
Oh, he's a billionaire.
Aviator Gin.
I think he's a billionaire now.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I think it's.
Taylor Swift's a billionaire, which just fucking blows my mind.
Did you hear that it was on a radio, the Taylor Swift effect?
What is that?
So when she goes to any city or country,
Yeah.
there's a monumental increase in that city of money spent,
Yeah, right.
and it's literally called the Taylor Swift effect, where that city will earn extra 4 million or 10 million, whatever it is,
Yeah.
just because she's in town for the show.
Wow.
Because people fly in, eat there, get accommodation,
Yeah.
taxis, etc., etc., etc.
Wow.
So there's a thing called the Taylor Swift effect where she goes to certain places and does, she.
Well, I mean, she's got a fucking following, but I love Donald Trump's thing.
He said it sold for 845 million.
Yeah, but what did he pay for it? 845. It was fuck all. I know he paid fuck all for it. It was like a struggling, like lower tier
Yeah,
thing.
it's just a casual couple mil.
I reckon it was like, I'm pretty sure it was under 10.
840 mil.
Yeah, because he stood
That's
in
a
front
lot
of the
Land
camera.
Cruisers, mate.
That's a fucking lot. You've got that bank, you're not driving fucking Land Cruisers, let me tell you.
Yeah, you would.
Well, I would.
You'd have
but
like a Hellcat.
Hellcat swapped cruiser.
Yeah.
The Hell Cruiser.
Hell Cruiser.
Fuck, someone's going to take that now.
Yeah, probably. Well, the Corvette was meant to be a Hellcat. That's why I call it the Hellvet. I just never afforded the Hellcat. It's just got an LS now.
It sounds mint. Come on, what did he pay for it? That's going to bug me now. It was fuck all. But, yeah, the Hell Cruiser.
Yeah,
Shit. Now I really want to build that.
should. Do it. It's just money, mate. Just do it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just money.
Remember how we were talking about things that we're adding to our list?
Yeah.
You should add that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool.
I'll put that on the to-do list.
Maybe take that Clevo out of that other one that's sitting there doing nothing.
Oh, the FJ?
Yeah. Okay, right now.
Well, that's the Ford motor. That's not...
It's a Toyota. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but if you're going to call it the Hell Cruiser, it's got to be a Hellcat motor.
Go with the Hell
Which
J.
is... The what?
Hell J.
But it's not... Ford don't... What are they? That's Dodge.
Yeah.
Ford don't own Dodge.
I didn't say they did.
But you can't call it a Hell something if it's not a Hellcat motor.
Put the Hellcat motor in that then.
If I'm going to put a Hellcat motor in anything, it'd be in a fucking newer thing than that FJ40.
Oh, why?
That thing with that 302 Clevo, it's got the original 4-speed in it. You're going to drop the clutch and do a backflip.
Oh, maybe just put a different box in it.
No, that thing is getting finished and fucked off.
He said he roughly made about 450 million out of it.
Wow. That's a nice bit of pocket money.
It is for doing a couple of fun videos just talking shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on him.
I'm going to have to look into that. I'm sure it was less than that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, maybe after expenses and stuff, because he would have done more than just buy it. He would have funded the marketing and did all the, and probably gave it a revamp and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure he paid fuck all for it. Someone will jump into the comments and tell me anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that was I feel like I kind of went on my own unique trip today a little bit, because that went a completely different way than what I thought it was going to be.
I'm doing another one next week if you want to come down.
It's another trip.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That scares the shit. Have you ever done it? I don't know, man. That's wild. I'll put it on the thinking about to-do list.
Nah, if you need it, you need it. You know when you need it.
Yeah, I don't think I need it. I like my drive. I like chasing what I'm chasing.
Yeah.
I definitely need to spend more time at home. But I've always just been like that. I love the challenge. I love the chase.
Yeah.
You know. But
Now, for me, it just takes me to a spiritual place. It's just I like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why my wife and I keep traveling to like spiritual places and all that.
yeah.
You know. And
Very
I like old places. I love my conspiracies.
Conspiracy theories?
Love them.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole episode on that.
Fucking obsessed.
He's
with
got
them.
a few too.
Does he? Yeah. Nah.
Actually, we should do that. We should put together a heap. We'll go ask AI, give us a fake conspiracy theory and see what it comes up with. And we'll slide it into the conversation somewhere and see if we can get away with it.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Well, I guess the good thing is if you can create one, but then actually hear other people talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal.
Just to hear people talking about the theory you came up with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that'd
you
be
know
fun.
that just bullshit.
Yeah, true. Anyway. Okay, we're going to start down a whole new topic.
I was going to do it with a guy at work because he loved it as well at one stage. And
Conspiracy theories.
a thought of it. You know how when all children are born, you're given a Hep C shot? No, sorry. Yeah, Hep C shot. I think it's a needle in the foot.
I know you've needle it, I couldn't tell you what it was,
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's the initial start. That's where they implant the first chip.
Oh, okay.
See if that spreads.
It
Good
probably
Lord.
will.
It probably will. Almost as bad as Hep.
Hep.
Hep C. Doesn't that shit spread? Isn't hepatitis really spreadable?
Is that the second chip?
I don't know.
No. Yeah.
He's like, no, you're fucking it up now.
Don't mess with my conspiracy.
Well, Mr. Cris, give us your socials for anybody that didn't catch it earlier.
Yeah, mate. It's Insta is Crisscross Art.
Yep.
Same with YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
And Facebook is Car Drawings by Christian Cross. Actually, everything's Crisscross Art. TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
You got all the links on everything anyway.
There's a link tree.
That's what I wanted to ask you about before you go.
Right.
And in the spirit of this, do you need another drink or are you good?
I'll have another one.
Another one?
Yeah.
Well, what I just saw on the screen there reminded me because he himself is a big fan of the beers. Richard Rawlins.
Yeah.
What is happening with that? When's he coming over? What are you doing?
Well, it's still... I think it was meant to be at the end of this year, but it's not happening anymore. It's going to be at the start of next year, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So Rides Down Under are going to be hosting the car show with him.
Yep. Is he bringing cars over or is he just checking stuff out here? Or
No, so he's going to be doing a tour of Australia.
Right.
Going to different shops. Obviously, there's going to be a few different car shows.
Yep.
In Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne.
Yep.
Big shows
Okay.
that people can go to, do meet and greets, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be collaborations with a few different car shops around
Yeah.
who are going to do a build-off.
Okay.
And I think he's going to be involved with one specifically. I think it's going to be his build.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's going to be obviously the shows that people can go to, and on the TV you'll be able to see the process of the cars being built.
Yeah, I know he's already got a couple of contacts over here because I think it was one of the most recent pickups that he did had a Plasma Man bit of kit on it. So
Yeah.
he's obviously got some people over here he's already getting gear off. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so-
cool. When I saw that pop up and the guys talking about it, I was like, "Fucking, that's a pretty cool shout out."
Yeah, dude,
know,
it's
to
going to be a
have-
good one. Oh, this is the YouTube channel where
Yeah.
we go run amok.
Yeah.
That was good fun. But yeah, mate. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So it'll be cool to see a big American character from the car scene over there
Absolutely.
get involved here, and he will be doing the rounds at different bars as well, and visiting.
I'm sure he will.
He's going to be doing. I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing some stuff with his YouTube channel on the side of visiting different places and things like that. So I think a lot of people here are going to have a pretty cool opportunity to meet him.
Yeah.
And be a part of what he's doing, because I think he wants to really collaborate with a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to follow anything to doing with Richard, make sure you just try and stick to Rides Down Under.
Yep.
They'll pretty much be posting up all the details about that in the next coming months.
Yeah. Right. Very cool.
Yeah, so that should be pretty cool. That's been on the works for a while now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
look, I know he's commented on heading down here a couple of times. I remember something in the early days when they were in that real tiny first shed. He had a couple of Aussie guys come over and they were decking out I think it was a Cadillac, it was a convertible Cadillac. The guys were driving across Route 66 or something, and they took him out shooting and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's that would be cool. That would be a cool one to have come down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop and I'll let you know.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, because that'll be a cool one. That's gonna be a really cool one.
Well, you got anything else you wanna touch on before we wrap it up?
How long's it been?
I don't even know. A couple of hours, 2 and a bit,
Right.
something like that. Yeah, just over 2. There you go.
Mate, I'm pretty good.
You good?
Pretty good, yeah.
Well, look,
You've made me drink more than I normally drink. So. This is probably where I'm vulnerable now. I'll take advantage of what I say.
Well, there's no beds here, so you're all right. I don't have any blindfolds. Well, mate, I
It's
think
just the karting couch over there.
that's,
Is it?
yes. It is there. I'm going to leave that alone.
So much shame in your face right now.
Oh, I can't even tell you. Oh, it's getting dirty. Well, look, thank you very much for coming down. We've got some cool shit coming up as well, so people will see your face on here again.
Yes, you do, mate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as part of a little bit of a revamp for launching Lakeside, to give you your official title, which you will never live down now, professional shit talker.
Shit talker.
Right? It's not a bad one.
I like it.
The verbal gymnast shit talker.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a heap of stuff that they've got coming up. What the lakesidepark.com.au?
Yeah, mostly on their Facebook. I think they post up most of the up-and-coming events.
Yeah.
I think there's Chrome Bar Day coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be the weekend before this when this goes live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of drag days, and you know what, mate? Lakeside's just a good old school sort of place to go to.
Yeah.
Like you got QR, you got a few other places around, and there's a lot of formal racetracks now out there.
Yeah.
Running some big events that are very well managed. Lakeside's just that good old,
It's the way it was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Even the roads are, but
True.
it's a great place just to go and have fun. Take your car out. It doesn't really matter what you got.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your time with the family.
Yeah, we had, it had been a minute since I'd been out there before we went out last time, or the first time rather, this time around. It was like stepping back 20 years.
Yeah.
The feel of that place is so much, it's almost like, God, I was talking to somebody
It's just
about
nostalgic.
this. Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
because it's like it's not commercialized. It's still the way it was,
Yeah.
to a degree. Like, it's like you go to Hamilton Island. You wouldn't know you're on fucking Hamilton Island. There's a McDonald's there.
Is there?
Well, I've never been, but it's what I've been told. But I went to Long Island.
Oh, yeah.
This is many years ago now, but that was just beautiful and relaxing, and like there was a restaurant and it's all good, but it wasn't like being in the middle of fucking Sydney.
Yeah.
Like it's like that. This for me, Lakeside for me is the same thing. It's like it takes you back.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look much different.
No.
And it's like it's a fun track. It's a tricky track at points, but it's a fun track, and it's everybody out there's got a good attitude. You don't bump into anybody and they're all fucked off because they're at work. Most of them are there because they love
No,
it.
mate, not at all. No, Gloria, Jim, Jack,
Yeah.
the whole team that are there. They've been
Don't
there.
fuck with Jack's cones though.
No, don't fuck with Jack.
I moved one the other day and he was like, "Let me do it."
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, all right. I was just trying to help.
Jack's the calm one
Yeah, well,
out of all of them. Jack's the cool, calm, collected one. But
he's a good egg. He just doesn't like you messing with his stuff.
No,
Yeah.
none of them do. But no, it's a good team, mate. And
It is.
And John Tetley, I think that's one of the good things about here. He's a wealthy guy, and he doesn't really need any external people jumping in as sponsors or involvement to kind of mess with his recipe.
Yeah.
As much as probably that track does have potential to do so many more other things, I think the fact that he's kind of held on to it the way that he has allowed it to stay the way it is. And that's not such a bad
absolutely.
thing. That's
No.
not such a bad thing, If
I
you
agree.
want to go full on racing and do the hardcore stuff, obviously you got QR and you got Sydney Raceway and a few other places all around. But Lakeside's just a good backyard racetrack, man. It's just
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's like a
especially
family-friendly,
It is.
non-commercialized,
yeah.
local track.
Yeah.
But it feels like that too,
It does.
which is the good thing. That's what when I went back out there, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, this is where we're going to do it. Because like with those new shows we're filming, there was a lot of different things that we looked at doing, but nothing felt like that feels.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all, mate. No, that's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that way. No. So yeah, it's a great little track, mate. It's good.
It is.
Good to go out there. Good team.
It is. It is a good team.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for coming down.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for sharing your story. That, as I said, that went a totally different way than where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
So hey, you know what? I love stories, and I love getting my perspectives. You know, not challenged, but opened.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. Well,
I'm glad, mate. I'm glad.
I think there's probably a couple more drinks to be had tonight, but we'll wrap this one up, and we'll next time we see your face will be out at Lakeside.
Yeah. Or the exhibition.
No, it'll be at Lakeside.
No, it'll be Lakeside, yeah.
Yeah, the exhibition's at the end of the year.
Yeah,
so
it is, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, geez, man, calm down.
Yeah, Lakeside.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, dude.
Bye, everybody.